Well, good everyone. This is Nick Michalak and the awesome Steve Frazier.
Well, thank you.
And we are doing a 30th anniversary commentary for Batman Mask of the Phantasm, which Steve seems to have some critiques about.
I've got mixed feelings.
We'll have some things to discuss in this whole thing, but have your own copy of Batman Mask of the Phantasm. Get your subtitles turned on and get your timestamp order to 0, and we'll get synced up with a countdown very shortly. So, in 3, 2, 1, play.
This is kind of the first of our Christmas offerings.
Our first animated feature.
Oh, I guess it is, isn't it?
Yes.
Wow, I didn't realize that.
Yeah. Yes, this was released on Christmas Day in 1993, and I was in the theater for it.
On Christmas Day?
Yes.
You went on Christmas, really?
Me and the sister, maybe a friend or two went.
Wow.
Well, there's a whole lot of people that went to see this one, unfortunately.
Well, yeah.
Well, it was a whole thing that they originally started production of the whole thing as being just a direct-to-video thing, but they saw partway through making the thing, oh, it looks like this could be a theatrical release, so they shifted the whole thing, so they had to create some complication with the animation in terms of like reframing everything for widescreen instead of 4:3, and that didn't really give them enough headway to really kind of do as much marketing as possible. So just kind of, it didn't make its money back. Only made about $5 million off of like a $6.5 million budget for this whole thing.
Yeah. So you
did a lot of rewatching of the series.
I did recently, like over the last year, I'd say.
Yeah.
I started, and I have the Blu-ray box set, the same one that you have here, that has all of the, the 30 minutes and then some of the movies, and it's got some compilation kind of things.
Yeah,
strings along certain story arcs together.
Yeah,
it's a nice set.
Yeah,
and I do think that this show is like underrated as far as like in the pantheon of Batman. It's kind of forgotten about.
People don't talk about the animated stuff. They just keep putting the live action movies in the conversation. Not a whole lot of anything else.
Shady Lady is a great name, by the way.
I mean, the series does get a lot of respect from people who are aware of it, but it could get more discussion in the pantheon of Batman adaptations.
So I started watching, and this was one of those weird, like, 80s and 90s things where animated shows, their first quote-unquote season was like a full year.
Yeah.
So I think season 1 of Batman the Animated Series has like 65 episodes.
So probably that was kind of the standard at the time, especially when they're... I don't remember they start. I don't think they started weekly. I think they're like a daily, Monday through Friday thing.
Yeah, that could be.
At least it started that way. I think it might have changed later on.
Either way, it was like a shitload of episodes.
Yeah.
Season 2 has like 20 episodes.
Okay.
It's weird.
Yeah.
Anyway, so I'm going back and I'm watching, and I didn't watch it every day.
Yeah.
So there were episodes that I'd never seen before.
Okay.
But I remember loving it, And now, how is that possible?
Mm-hmm.
So I'm watching it, and I like fell in love with this TV show.
Mm-hmm.
There are some that are kind of mediocre, but
Sure.
there are some that are just really great stories.
Yeah.
And if my memory serves, this was kind of a bridge the gap between the end of the first run and...
Yeah, because it started in fall of 92.
Right, so a full year later,
Yeah.
this comes out, and at this point, we've established, 8 to 10 great villains.
Yeah.
A lot of great backstories. All kinds of weird, subplots.
Sure.
And then this comes out, and I thought, oh, there's going to be some references to some of the stuff that I've just been watching. And it's not. It's like a completely different story. They do like an origin story built in to this, which is weird. I don't know. It's like There's something about it that's off-putting for me. But
okay. I mean, the thing flew enough under the radar that even Siskel and Ebert didn't even know about it until it hit Laserdisc, like a year later. They did a specific.
Did they review it when
they did a specific episode saying that we missed this in theaters and we just watched it now on Laserdisc.
Wow, that's kind of weird.
Yeah, so that shows how much Warner Bros. Really just didn't put it in front of a lot of eyes. They didn't get in front of like a lot of critics for them to give it the time of day in the Christmas season. So. I mean, I don't know. I kind of hear there about it being a Christmas release. I don't know. It's kind of odd.
It is kind of odd. Now I get, kids are home from school for Christmas break.
Yeah.
So I get that.
Yeah. It doesn't feel like it's good enough to be competing with the big blockbusters in the summer. So.
Right. Maybe more of like a spring break kind of movie would have been better.
Yeah. It just kind of shows they really didn't plan out the theatrical marketing strategy.
Did Schindler's List open on Christmas Day also against this? Like
God knows. You know better than I would.
I don't remember the exact release date on that, but I'm going to look it up while we're talking.
Sure.
The other thing that I don't like about this is it really goes back and forth with the time.
The flashbacks, you mean?
Yeah, but it's not clearly defined what scenes are happening when.
Okay.
Like, as somebody who'd never seen it before, I feel like it would be confusing. I don't know. I feel like it's got a weird editing. It also just felt kind of disjointed against all of the characters that I'd just been watching.
Okay.
And then none of them are in this, except the Joker at the end.
Right.
Kind of. Not at the end, but you know what I mean?
I get it as like, okay, it's going to be a feature you're trying to sell. It's not something you're broadcasting alongside. It's not going to premiere on Fox in a prime time slot 3 hours after you just watched the latest episode. They're trying to sell it as much of a contained story on its own without having to have watched 40 episodes. So I
I get it.
Kind of get it as having a connection to it, but not writing like continuing plot threads of everything.
No, I get that. I just thought, like, it feels like one of those, two-parter or three-parter episodes that they just said, let's add a backstory and then stick it in a movie theater. I love this Alfred.
Oh, yeah. Which I think I don't know, it's actually in the broadcast version of the first episode, but they originally had a different voice actor for him.
Oh, really?
Yeah. But then they found Efrem Zimbalist Jr. here and did a wonderful job of that.
I don't know whatever else that guy ever did, but...
Oh. Did you find your release date?
Yes, I did. Sorry, I was looking at this and then thinking about the backstory. So Schindler was released on December 15th.
Okay, so
it had a full 10-day advance.
Yeah. Oh.
So I get it that this is a flashback.
Okay.
Because they did the little, whatever.
Yeah.
I thought it was interesting that, like, this character of her was never brought up at any point in the show. So it feels a little bit out of left field, if that makes sense.
Okay. I mean...
Especially since, by this point, everyone is very familiar with the lore and the backstory of Batman.
Right. But there's the whole thing. In the series, they never really got into... like actually showing origin stuff or flashback stuff, really. It was all just in the moment stories, present day stories.
Right. With, obviously they did some backstory on all the other characters.
Sure.
Robin in particular, Mr. Freeze.
Yeah. So, but then it was very seldom that there's always kind of here or there about how much each adaptation was going to do something about the backstory. Because the first time Batman's backstory was ever shown in an adaptation outside the comics was the last iteration of Super Friends, which was Superpowers team in like '85, and it was a Scarecrow episode, and they showed the backstory of the alleyway, and as much as they could show of the parents getting gunned down just implied as much. But then you got stuff Burton does, which is all like tied in with the Joker, and so each time they kind of go at it from different perspectives and trying to do a different twist on certain things here and there.
Who meets their date at a cemetery?
Yeah.
Not saying it can't happen, but...
Right.
So, like, the way that they faded there makes you not know if this is, like, current.
Okay.
And then you infer it by that.
Yeah.
Where he's like a ninja.
Yeah. At least a tad bit of this. I mean, you see a little bit of this in, like, Batman Begins, but it's all kind of stemming off from the Batman Year One comic that came out in the late 80s.
Right, and see, I never read any comic whatsoever. None.
Yeah. I mean, when this came out, I've only ever seen the animated version of it. I didn't care for it that much. I didn't find it good as a narrative film adaptation.
What was it called?
Batman Year One.
Okay.
It was like kind of the first time everyone showed like the primordial days of Batman, him getting up to actually becoming the character, and the state Gotham was in before he really came into action and stuff like that. And so there's just a tad bit of thing just on this, and a few other things just getting up to that point and taking their own story ideas to get up to a similar point.
That makes sense. One of the other things that I kind of drives me nuts about this show, that's fun, I love a coffee spit take, is the fact that not everybody, that's hyperbole, in many, many episodes of this show, bad guys use guns and try to gun down people.
Yeah.
Batman, whoever.
Yeah.
But it's a kids' TV show.
Yeah, no one's going to get shot.
No one's going to get shot.
Yeah.
And therefore, everyone's gun misses.
Right.
And it's almost like, why even bother with the guns if there's no end game? Right. All you're doing is kind of like, if you're going to be one of those people, you're going to say that, all you're doing is teaching kids that it's okay to shoot guns because they don't hurt anybody. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Whatever. Yeah. Sure.
And so, like, I almost wish that they didn't use the guns at all.
Okay.
And I'm not one of those people.
Okay.
I thought it was off-putting again.
It's one of those things you pick up on when you're doing a marathon. You're really watching it a lot, because I remember way back in the day, I was watching like a Miami Vice marathon. It's like, man, this show is so violent.
Yeah.
Everyone gets shot all the time, but there's no blood squibs on the show. Almost never. It's like, man, this show is so violent. No one ever gets arrested at the end of the day. Everyone just gets killed. Like, these things you pick up when you watch like 5 episodes at a shot.
Like, I feel like they're spending so much time in the backstory. Like, I think I'd watched this once when I was a kid.
Okay.
And then I watched it again recently when I finished, I watched it in between seasons 1 and 2, and I didn't remember that it was like backstory.
Okay. So I've watched this thing plenty of times.
That's kind of funny. So I was kind of like, wait, is this just an origin story movie? I thought it was weird.
Okay.
And maybe you're right. Maybe it was a product of the fact that I'd been binging and watching, 3 or 4 a day.
Sure.
Instead of my, nightly movie or whatever. I was like, I'll watch 3 Batmans.
Yeah.
Like, we're, 15 minutes into the movie, and 2/3 of it has been back then.
Yeah.
As a standalone, though, I mean, it's okay.
Okay.
Although it's a little complicated of a story, I think. So here's somebody actually died. Now that's kind of interesting.
Yeah.
And that was... But now I've lost track of which one it was. Like, I already forgot what the scene was where this Chucky died.
That was the parking garage.
Oh, okay. And they assumed that because they saw Batman in the window that he did it?
Yeah.
Just a wheelbarrow full of dirt from the recent, cover-up. Full moon fever. Look at that. Do you like this character? The Phantasm?
I like the design of it, yeah.
It feels a little Scooby-Doo to me, though.
I like its play on the angel of death type of thing, so it feels like very Grim Reaper-esque.
Yeah. Yeah, I get it. I just think that a lot of the other Batman villains, not all of them, but most of them are not in a costume that...
Okay.
I don't know, there's like... I mean, Harley Quinn is kind of that way.
Yeah.
Where she plays out of costume and
Sure.
in costume.
But as the story goes along, it makes sense for why.
Oh, yeah.
Why?
But at this point, you don't know that.
Right.
So it's... Uh-oh. That'll hurt. So we've actually had 2 people die in this movie now?
Consequences.
I mean, arguing against what I just said, like, I feel like nobody ever died in the TV show. There was always, like, Batman's whole thing is, I wanted you to be arrested, not...
Right. I mean, one, you you've got the TV standards and practices. You can't get away with certain things, no matter what you want to do.
Right.
Theatrical film, or even a film you're releasing the direct-to-video, you got
a little more
standards.
leeway. A little more leeway, yeah.
You're against the MPAA, so you could... It's just PG, I think it is.
I imagine so.
Yeah, PG.
I don't see any reason why it wouldn't be.
Yeah, I'm just... As you bring up MPAA, usually contentious on what they decide to render a verdict on.
There we go. Batman doesn't kill.
Uh-huh.
But I don't buy that he'd say, you go get him.
Yeah.
Like, that seems weird, right? That the commissioner would be like, I'm going to stay out of it.
A little bit. Well, I think maybe my only sort of maybe critique for the film's like, Gordon's almost not a part of the story at all.
Yeah.
You could almost have, like we've seen in some live-action Batman films, maybe Batman and Gordon work on the side about something else like that. Maybe Gordon tries to coordinate something with Batman to kind of crack what's going on, or try to find a way to clear his name, get the evidence, or find who's doing it. So they don't really utilize Gordon in the story at all. It's a little unfair to the character in my regard.
This is also not really true to character, right? Like, he's in character, so...
He really shouldn't be.
He shouldn't be, right, operating...
Skulking around his parents' grave like this.
And this is current, right?
Yes.
So, yeah, weird. She's daydreaming about that time she was banging Bruce Wayne. There's a cartoon that I'd like to see.
Not gonna be on Fox Kids.
No. I want rated R Batman. Uses all of his gadgets.
Oh boy.
No?
It's a different place on the internet.
I was gonna say, I bet I could find something that's, Batman related.
No.
No?
I'm just saying, no thank you.
Oh, I got it. You don't like fun. It's the Gotham World's Fair. It's not the World's Fair in Gotham. It's Gotham's World Fair.
Hmm.
And anybody that knows anything about World's Fairs knows that the 1893 in Chicago is the only one that ever mattered.
That's a concept that died a death a long time ago, didn't it?
Yeah, I think it lasted into the 70s. And maybe even the 80s.
Mm.
And I really wish that they would bring it back.
Mm.
I think it's unfortunately, the idea of debuting something at the World's Fair is kind of moot in this 24-hour life cycle that we live now.
Yeah. You got Apple events and whoever else and electronic shows.
If we had a new product, we just debut it on X tonight,
Yeah.
You don't wait for the World's Fair.
So live stream on YouTube or
Twitch,
wherever.
Right. But there's something really cool about the idea of everyone having this destination to go to to see the latest and greatest things.
Sure, yeah.
But now anybody can just open the phone that's in their pocket
Right.
and see the latest and greatest things,
Right.
and then complain that they can't get it immediately, let alone having to travel to Paris or
Right.
where St. Louis to get it, you know?
Right. You gotta go to like a specific trade show for something like that now.
Right.
So it's not that same sort of environment.
At this point, Bruce Wayne's still a millionaire, though, right? Like,
Well, he's got his family's inheritance, yeah.
so I feel like everyone would already know who he is.
Mm-hmm. We do have a nice voice cast here. So the father is played by Stacy Keach.
Okay.
The daughter is Dana Delaney. And the little pipsqueak councilman is Alice from Die Hard.
Oh,
Hart Bochner.
Hart Bochner, right? Yeah. And did we decide that Hart Bochner was also in Terror Train?
Yes, he was.
Yeah,
without the beard.
Without the beard, right.
In the monk outfit.
And then there's that other guy that's in this. Oh shit! Who is it? The mobster guy.
Oh, we got Abe Vigoda.
Hey, Vigoda, that's
Abe
it.
Vigoda,
Yeah.
Old fish.
Fish, right?
And the mobster got killed at the beginning. Chucky saw that was Dick Miller. I was not aware of that one.
Oh, Dick Miller, right?
Old Dick Miller.
There's a lot of voices that you're like, I think I know that voice, and what is it? Where does it come from?
Yeah. And Dana Delaney, she is delightful. She's wonderful.
And what do you know her from?
Tombstone,
Well, okay.
mainly.
All right.
She was on China Beach.
Oh, sure.
I remember watching the Emmys one year, and there's just like China Beach.
Yeah.
20 times over.
Sure. China Beach was big back then.
Oh, yeah.
Dana Delaney was on some other show, though. Like The West Wing or something. I don't know.
She was on, well, I know, I watched the show, she did Body of Proof, where she was like a coroner or something like that. And Jerry Ryan and a couple other people in it. It's a fine procedural show, but I think she was in something a little more
mainstream, yeah.
high profile.
I think so. Oh, Desperate Housewives.
Okay, yeah, that was a hot ABC show, yeah. Terry Hatcher and a whole bunch of other.
Right. Apparently she was in Tulsa King, too. I gotta watch that.
Okay,
Sly.
Sloan show.
Yeah, China Beach, 88 to 1991. So, she was fresh off that, doing this.
Yeah.
Desperate Housewives. That's kind of the era of Emmys that I remember her name being always in. I was definitely watching the Oscars in 91, but I wasn't
had
much
this
of it.
thing burned in my mind. Every nomination, China Beach. Nice theme song they had.
I think my mom liked China Beach.
I don't think it got great ratings, but because it was critically so hot, they kept it going.
It's a little coincidental that she's back, right? I mean, I guess if you know the plot,
right?
Then...
And it all ties up later on. Yeah. So at first it might seem like a little plot convenient stuff, but It's at least nice in the plot where they're trying to infer that's the father who's the Phantasm.
Right. And I'm pretty sure that I fell for that, on the first watch.
That's a good, solid diversionary tactic.
Well, it also makes sense, right?
Yeah. And I think it was Stacy Keach actually doing the voice of the Phantasm to further that along.
Well, see there, that's a little...
That's getting into Scream territory with a voice modulator scenario.
Yeah, I know. It's like, oh, everybody can just sound like this? I still don't buy that, like, over 5 Scream movies, it was 5 different people, and they all sounded exactly like the guy that goes around to conventions.
Yeah, sure.
And now he's crying in the rain by a gargoyle. Like, they're almost implying that, like, his failed marriage to be, like, was the impetus for Batman. And, like, I don't know. That seems like a stretch.
Well, I like the way I see it is the fact that he's on this teetering point. He's getting up to this point of trying to figure out what to do about making good on the vow to the dead parents.
Right.
But this woman comes into his life that kind of shows him that there might be something else in his life to live for. And so he's at this sort of crucial tipping point that once she leaves the entire scenario,
he's got nothing else to...
He's got nothing
no
else.
Other choice, right.
He commits himself fully to the darkness of Batman.
And to your point, Commissioner Gordon here has, like, no role in the movie.
No, that's like I said, that's the one negative point I can give against the film. That Gordon's too much of a character throughout the entire series, and too much of a great relationship with Batman to just have the fact that this councilman and the police are all thinking that Batman's at blame for these deaths, and Gordon just kind of walks out and just washes his hands and kind of goes home and does nothing about it.
Right, like he literally said, if you want to go find him, then great, but I'm telling you he didn't do it.
Right.
That's it.
I mean, I like the fact that he walks out. I'm saying, like, I'm not going to lead this crusade against you, but it's the fact that he doesn't do anything else. He doesn't do anything in opposition to that.
Sure.
He doesn't, like, hey, meet up with Batman or kind of something else like that. It's like
how great would it be?
Trade notes and trying to figure out the situation with Batman.
Right, like just to say, hey, I know you didn't do this.
Right.
I don't know who did it either, but I know it wasn't you.
Yeah.
Because the audience... Like, if you're a kid watching this, you don't believe that Batman did it either.
Well, yeah, we know that for certain.
Right.
We're shown that, so we're...
I know that face. That face. Oh, wait, not that face. That's Andrea's father. Which is another great little plot point to make you misdirect to think that's him.
Yeah. Get the idea.
You'll get the idea.
It's a romance here.
A 200-carat diamond there.
Yeah, that's a thick rock there. £10 ring.
No shit. Looks like one of today's Super Bowl rings. Does that really happen? Bats on the beach? In daylight? I was somewhere recently where there was a bat. Now I'm trying to remember where it was. I remember. I do a barbecue kind of situation with a group of my friends.
Sure.
Out at a family farm. And it was the end of the night, and we were wrapping up, and we're all outside cleaning up, and something was fluttering around, and it was a bat. So, out in the country. So that was cool. And I like that he gets a Dear John letter here.
Oh, yeah.
Remember that TV show, Dear John?
Oh, yeah.
I never watched it, but I remember the opening credits.
Oh, yeah.
Like the letter on the mantle,
Yeah.
I think was...
What was that dude's name?
I don't remember. You gonna look it up? The magic of live Googling.
Yeah,
like, who needs a World's Fair? We got Google.
Then got the face. Judd Hirsch.
Judd Hirsch.
I
Yes.
got the face. I can't knock the name in my head. But this is great. I think this is the best moment in the film.
This is Ninja Batman becoming real Batman?
The real Batman.
I like the silhouette.
Yeah, just the music. Oh.
The eyes.
And that's
Alfred being afraid.
Right, I mean, if it scares the shit out of Alfred, I mean, that's just... It puts in a lot more emotion than some other Batman films really kind of attempt for.
I agree.
It's giving Batman an arc. It's creating some sort of emotional turmoil for the character to grapple with. A lot of times just Batman, he's there. Maybe he's got a love interest he doesn't have a lot of chemistry with. And you just got to stop the bad guys. It's not like... doesn't tend to be a lot of character development for like some of the earlier Batman films.
Like Batman and Robin was trying to come up with something like this.
Yeah, and it just...
Well, and Forever.
Forever was real hampered, as we discussed.
Right.
Yeah. There was supposed to be more in the film, but it got cut back because it was running too long, and they decided to focus on the carnival antics from the fucking bad guys.
And this is your buddy, right?
Yeah,
Mark Hamill?
Mark Hamill. I mean, just imagine my surprise. I'm growing up loving my Star Wars and everything like that, and I find out Skywalker's the Joker.
It's a pretty great career. We talked about him during our Body Bags episode.
Yeah. And I think at this point in time we're recording this stuff now is like there's a lot of folks that really appreciate the quality of his talent, and they're putting him in some really solid pieces of work. And before, a lot of the years or what that went by is that he's doing like direct-to-video stuff, and he's not in anything that you consider high profile or anything like that, because it just kind of typecast them in their minds and just like didn't really give them a chance. But
so I don't know. Did you watch the Netflix show, the Mike Flanagan Fall of the House of Usher?
I have not, but I'm aware he's in it.
He's in it. He's pretty good. Definitely worth a view. I'm kind of hit or miss on some Flanagan stuff.
Okay.
But I think he's good. Mm-hmm. And I went in with low expectations with Fall of the House of Usher, and I could not turn it off. I binged it over like, I don't know, 2 or 3 days. Oops. So, Joker is just living here in the World's Fair.
Yeah. Let's kick it back.
I don't remember...
Every time he shows up, he's in a different layer anyway.
Right. I was going to say, I don't remember that being a consistent thing.
No. It's always in some, like a toy factory or
abandon something.
Some theater somewhere, something.
That's another thing.
Whatever suits the plot.
Right, and whatever suits the plot's right. I always thought it was interesting how many abandoned buildings there are in Gotham City.
It's a whole district full of them.
And, like, nothing's ever done about it. They're just, somebody left, so it's just abandoned.
Yeah. Everything goes out of business in this fucking city. There's no commerce.
Right.
As I mentioned before, I meant to look it up, but if you go on YouTube, you can find the stuff Tim Curry did as the Joker, and it just, from what I recall, it just feels odd.
In the animated?
Yeah, he was originally cast for the role, and they got like one episode in, and it's like, this isn't quite working. It's not quite right.
I imagine that it would have been offered to him off the heels of it.
Yeah.
And he would have probably been doing a very similar character. Maybe,
yeah. I'd have, can't really look it up now.
No, I know.
Out.
But that's fine. I mean, it's out there.
Yeah.
Tim Curry is the Joker.
If I got my headphones, I could actually pull it up on my phone and figure that out.
The actual, like, criminal storyline here, I do like. You know, somebody's knocking off the... We also haven't seen the Phantasm in
a while.
In a hot minute.
Yeah.
Which is a consistency point of contention, but... Now, like, I get it, because the Phantasm can't go after the dad, because you're supposed to assume he is the dad.
Right.
And the other one... I don't remember what's happening with the other one, but...
Well, the other guy's hiring the Joker to take out Batman.
The fourth guy?
Yeah.
Okay. I don't remember.
The one we just saw at the World's Fair with the Joker. He's trying to hire Joker to eliminate the problem.
Oh, see, I was under the impression that was her dad.
No.
That was the fourth guy. Okay. Just walked in the house?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Uh-oh. Mark Hamill is really good in this show.
Yeah.
Spleen. What an underutilized body part, the spleen. I mean, it's completely useless. You'd think after all these years that humans would evolve and just not have one. We also didn't get the Danny Elfman theme song for this. Did he do all the other music? I feel like he did not.
Well, this is a takeoff of his music, but he's not doing the music in the show or anything like that. Shirley Walker, who is rigger conductor for his orchestras, is doing the music.
Right, but he's credited with the opening theme song of the show.
Yeah.
So I just figured that they would use it for the movie, but they didn't. I mean, they're using
parts
of the theme, right? But not
the full blown thing. Yeah.
Like, we didn't get an opening credits sequence, so to speak, you know? But I guess that would make it a little too like the show.
It was like I said, it's just a variation on the same thing, but it was much more of a slowed down, more choral piece they put together for the whole thing. So it's a little bit more haunting ambiance type of stuff instead of rousing hero moment.
Right. And then, I know I was talking to you about it, just in our everyday lives, but, like, in the middle of season 2, they suddenly switched the name of the show from Batman the Animated Series to The Adventures of Batman and Robin.
Right.
And suddenly the Elfman theme is no more.
It's completely different.
Completely, yeah. So, it's almost like they severed ties with him or something.
I don't know. I mean...
But I
think it still has hints of it, but it's a completely different orchestration.
It's not like they started season 2 with the new title and new theme.
Right.
You get like 7 or 8 episodes of the normal, and then just, the next one, it's completely different, with no explanation.
Yeah.
It's very weird.
I don't know if I can find any quick information about why that was altered.
Again, there's 700 bullets,
right.
And now one of them's going to get Batman.
Yeah. I mean, there was more of a clear delineation when they did the new Batman Adventures, and they changed the art style and stuff like that because it moved over to Kids WB.
Right.
It was almost like a year break between the series, so almost treated as almost like a soft reboot kind of thing.
Sure, but this happened in the middle.
The Batman and Robin thing, was just like, I don't know. I'm just trying to scan through the Wikipedia real fast, but I'm not really seeing mention of that alteration.
I kind of like the cowl on the sawhorse.
Yeah.
This might be the only time ever that they showed Bruce Wayne in the Batman.
Kind of in this regard, yeah.
Right, like a combo platter.
Yeah. Not inside like the Batcave or anything, yeah.
Also, like we talked about in maybe Batman Returns, when we were discussing his relationship with Selina Kyle, how crazy it would be if this were set today, because, again, the 24-hour news cycle, like, there is no secret. Like, 3 people know who I am, but they'll be quiet.
Sure.
Nobody has a camera, nobody has a cell phone, nobody has anything to, like, take a picture of Bruce Wayne wearing no cowl, but all the other parts of the Batman costume.
As far as I'm digging up, there's no real substantive answer to what the name changeover. Just the fact that, we added Robin. Robin's more of a part of the story, so it's just Batman and Robin.
Yeah, but
it's just like an odd point in time in the middle of the season.
Right, like 7 or 8 episodes in out of the 20 in season 2. It's like, just like I literally thought I hit a wrong button.
Right. I think it might have been on the old DVDs. I don't know if it was for that or the new Batman Adventures, where you can actually choose a different title sequence.
Oh, really?
But I don't think I don't think they put it on the Blu-rays. It was on the old DVDs.
That guy looks like a good mobster.
Yeah.
The chubby one.
Yeah.
I guess they all do. You know what it is? It's the hats. Sure. I wish everyone wore hats again. I can't wear a hat because my head's giant. It doesn't look right. But I would love for men to just wear suits and hats everywhere again. That would really make my day. That's how the mob works, Andy. You do a little something, they do a little something, and then you're hooked for life.
Yeah. One favor, and
you can't get
more
out.
than enough.
You can't get out.
Yeah.
A lot of times you don't even ask for that favor.
Yeah.
They just do it for you, and then now you owe them.
Yeah.
Man, he's ripped like Roddy Piper. It's very off-putting to see him in half a Batman costume.
Yeah.
No, isn't that weird?
Yeah.
And there is something slightly charming about the idea that he's always like got a girl, like a date,
Sure.
and you're always kind of wondering, oh, well, maybe this will be the one that sticks.
Huh.
It was like Jerry Seinfeld never dated the same woman in 2
No.
episodes. It was
No.
always somebody different.
No.
I don't know how you could say that he doesn't matter anymore if you're insinuating that he's the one in the costume.
Mm-hmm.
Classic movie setup, right?
Yeah.
Where, he falls in love, he has his heart broken, and then they reunite, and he thinks it's going to be good, and then it falls apart again.
It feels a little 30s, 40s-ish. It feels like Cary Grant as Batman.
A little bit, yeah.
Maybe it's just the Art Deco style they have. The whole thing is feeling a little old-school Hollywood sort of romance type of thing.
And it really does feel different than anything else on the TV show. It's the same characters and same cartoon style, but it's
a little more. It's a more deeply interwoven story on a personal level.
right. Uh-oh. I love that he draws the face. That
Yeah.
really is awesome.
Yeah, this is Hart Bochner.
Mr. Cocaine himself.
Yeah.
It didn't work out for him very well in the other 2 movies that we've covered.
No.
I like the characterization of the Joker in this show.
Yeah.
I like the white face. The
exuberance.
Yeah, I like the black hair with just the green streak. It's not green hair. It's a black hair with a green tinge.
Yeah.
Obviously, purple is my favorite color, so. The buzzer is fantastic. I think some of these animated would make fantastic Halloween costumes. I do kind of wish that the Joker was the main villain, though. I don't know. If you're gonna... Like, this is your debut cinematic experience. Sure. And Joker is the number 2 villain. And has had more screen time than the number 1 villain.
Yeah, I could see that.
Like,
I mean, he's going to steal the show no matter what. That's the thing.
Coinky Dink needs to come back. Loins also needs to come back as a reference. Look at that. He's so great.
Oh.
I don't assume that Mark Hamill does convention appearances, but
beyond Star Wars Celebration, I don't think that he goes around and does like a Wizard World or anything,
right?
Or they call it now Fan Expo. Maybe a San
Diego
Comic-Con, maybe the big one, but
I don't know what is the ratio of items that he would have presented to him for autographs. I would assume 90% Star Wars.
Maybe 90, maybe 85, 90.
Yeah, there might be a small percentage that has the Joker here.
Yeah.
I don't know, like what else would be, like
here and there.
He's been around. He's been in stuff.
Yeah.
I mean, he might get away with, somebody might do Fall of the House of Usher because,
right.
Like my nephew, 16, might know him from that.
Yeah.
And because he's not a Star Wars kid.
Right.
I don't know.
I mean, obviously, since Conroy passed,
what a shocker that was, right?
Yeah, that hit hard, but Conroy was his Batman. And I think he said basically he's not doing the character Joker anymore because you just can't. You have to have your guy to work off of. You need that chemistry. You need that foil. It's like. I mean, I don't even know what to even equate it to. I mean, it's not like I can even say like, oh, there was a James Bond character and this was his Blofeld, even though there was 7 Blofelds.
Right.
You can't really equate it to much of anything. It's like you have a chemistry with this guy. You've been doing it for 30 years, and then the guy passes. Like you just can't recapture that same energy and the magic and the rapport, someone else stepping into the role. It just doesn't feel right for him to do it with someone else.
Yeah, it would be. It's hard to make a comp, right? Because other entertainers that have had long-term partners, they're not exclusive.
Right. But it seems like you couldn't put Keaton up against Heath Ledger. It's not the same thing.
Yeah.
They're just not going to have the same dynamics.
Right. Much like Adam West and Jack Nicholson wouldn't gel.
No. It's not the Cesar Romero thing. You got to have Cesar Romero.
Right.
With his painted-on mustache.
Oh, yes, mustache. Absolutely.
It seemed like when John Astin took over the Riddler for one time, it's like, Astin's a great actor, but he's not Gorshin.
Well, no. Gorshin's my guy.
Gorshin and West have that magic.
I mean, Gorshin, the only villain on that show to ever be nominated for an Emmy.
Right.
That's my guy.
Yeah.
The Riddler.
Right.
Which I think we might have talked about during the Batman thing, the newer ones, the trilogy.
Yeah.
That there was a hot minute where Eddie Murphy was rumored to be the Riddler, and oh my God, I walked around with an erection for 3 days, thinking that was gonna Eddie Murphy's one of the best comedians of all time,
right.
One of the funniest people I've ever seen, and like an A-list guy.
Right.
And the Riddler's my favorite character, right? And then they just never did it.
Yeah.
Like, they didn't do, they did Bane.
And studio is kind of like pushing like old DiCaprio because you just did Inception. Let's get DiCaprio to be the Riddler instead. I don't know.
Well,
there'd be very different interpretations of the characters from those different actors.
These robots fucking kill me.
Right.
And then they said, "Oh, never mind. We're just not going to have the Riddler role."
Yeah.
Which is what a shame, because the Riddler is a great character.
Right.
Bane is not a great character.
Not from what we saw in that movie, no. In any of the movies. He can be a good character if you look at what the character was in detail. You can have good, interesting stories, but the way they put him on film, it's been really piss.
Here's the Scooby-Doo moment.
Yeah, right.
Like,
right.
Joker says, "Lady..."
Joker's all figured everything out.
And she, instead of, like, arguing or whatever, just disrobes. Like, ah! Ow. So, the acid wasn't hurting the flower when it was inside his pouch. But as soon as he shoots it... Physics, yeah.
He's a hell of a chemist, man.
As soon as it shoots out, then it's lethal.
Right.
Oh, Rosie the robot's still chopping her bologna.
This is great.
He's paintbrushing him. like Andre with Heenan in WrestleMania 6.
I just like the fact, you can grab the knife, but no, he's going to go for the joke.
He's going to smack you with the bologna. I mean, talk about innuendo. That might have got him a PG-13 if the MPA was paying attention.
So,
I'm going to put my bologna in your mouth.
He cracked an extra joke there. Might have been over the line.
And then he jumped out the window, which means he lives.
He's fine. Say okay. I'll laugh it off.
The juicer. The Joker's a great character.
Oh, yeah. And Hamill's performance has made it an all-time icon.
Yeah, as much as Nicholson is, like, famous.
Right.
And Heath Ledger was, like, I don't know, like, so good it was scary.
Right.
Like, in some ways, this is the most accurate Joker.
This, I feel it is. I mean, there's a lot of different interpretations of different versions of the comics, but this feels like so quintessential. He's got the manic energy. He's very unpredictable. He'll do anything for a joke. As long as it makes him laugh, that's all that matters.
Right. And I didn't get that as much from Nicholson or Ledger.
Right.
They both felt like they were more out for harming the other than they were amusing themselves.
Yeah.
And Cesar Romero was somewhere in the middle.
Yeah. Yeah.
But this character, and I don't know, if Mark Hamill played it live action, I don't think it'd be the same.
Yeah, I don't know, because Conroy did this whole crossover stuff, live action on the CW, where Conroy got to play a version of Bruce Wayne, but it was like Dark Knight Returns, dark-sided Batman. He killed Superman. It wasn't the best version to have him do the thing, and he was fine doing it live action, but it wasn't this Batman, and that was the problem with it. I've seen even Tim Daly do some stuff live action, but it's not like he's playing Superman himself, but it's more like a comedy sketch. The most Hamill got to do, because he played a character called the Trickster on both Flash series, the one in the 90s, one the more recent stuff. And it's the closest you get to what he would do as a live action Joker, but still not quite the same. The similar enough character, but is distinctly a different sort of writing for the character, I'd say,
Right.
more than performance. More, the writing's different.
Right, the character is slightly... Right, there's the old Warner Brothers.
Yeah, might as well throw it in there.
Gotta shoot it in, right?
Yeah, sure.
I like that. The old Chrysler building just moving along. Or whatever that one is.
Yeah.
All this still works after...
Someone's changing the batteries.
Somebody's paying the electric bill.
Oh, it was a tooth.
Yeah, I think it... Yeah. Yeah, it's gone. You see it?
Yeah.
That's really good. I didn't notice that the last time I watched this. Great laugh.
I mean, I can get from your perspective, seeing like maybe they could have integrated Joker more earlier in the plot to have him more of a central figure instead of sort of something kind of ancillary to the plot that it kind of gets roped in.
Right, like the name of the movie is Mask of the Phantasm.
Mm-hmm.
And the Phantasm had 3 scenes.
Yeah, I get you.
So, like it was an evil that you don't see.
Right.
Like a threat.
And it's not even a character that's fighting Batman. I'm getting where you're coming from the whole thing. I still love the film because I like the character development here. You're showing you're seeing the next step in the origin of Batman. It's not just the parents get killed and he trains and he becomes Batman. There's a little bit more of a conflict getting towards the last phase of it. I like how that works in this story and deal with that. Bruce was so close to not becoming Batman and having a happier life for himself, but then he gets pulled away because of all these other people's decisions that kind of pull people away from each other, and he gets relegated to this.
Little jetpack Rocket Man action there. Yeah, I'm not buying that. But that's fine. It's a cartoon, whatever.
Yeah.
He didn't get out of the cockadoodie car. That's a solid line of dialogue.
I mean, it does show, like, when you have these two characters on the screen, it works the absolute best of anything in the film. Action-wise, character dynamic-wise.
Yeah, it feels the most like the TV show.
Mm-hmm.
And I only reference that because without the TV show, people wouldn't be invested enough to go see the movie.
Right.
Or rent it or whatever.
Sure.
That's a good line. Aw.
Mm.
House of the future. That baloney go boom boom. Good Lord. All of this is in Gotham City, right? Like
Yeah.
just
Somewhere in Gotham.
Somewhere in Gotham,
Gotham's
somewhere.
huge.
I do like the orchestral choir.
Oh, yeah.
That's got to be a little warm.
Yeah.
Look at all those chunks of debris falling on him. He's just perfectly fine. It's a cartoon. You live, always. Like, is this the sewer? Is this sewer water? What is this? And now he's lost his love a second time. So is the implication that she's also dead?
That seems what they're inferring at this point in time.
Because that would mean that the Joker's also dead, which is not ever going to happen.
That's a loose end, yeah. That's not addressed.
That's a great line.
Yeah.
I don't know what it is. Tell me what it is. Why would that be there? Oh, the Titanic. Careful, folks. You might feel like the king of the world here in a minute, but...
Now that crown.
Take a hint, buddy. She's about to hit an iceberg and go into the ocean, so that's the end of her story. And meanwhile, once again with nothing, except his morals and values,
right.
And a broken heart.
And so they never really resolved the cop end of the story. How do they... At what point does the cops realize Batman wasn't responsible for any of the murders? They didn't resolve any of that.
They don't resolve what happens to her or Joker.
Right.
I mean, she's obviously on a ship to nowhere.
Right.
But the Joker's just in limbo again.
Yeah.
So, I feel like there's a lot of critique for me. Like, there's obviously elements that are awesome. Stacy Keach Jr.
Never heard him credited that
Yeah,
way.
me either. Oh, fish. This did have like 4 screenwriters, and a lot of the names were ones that wrote for the TV show.
Makes sense.
Like the same people wrote like a lot of the episodes.
Okay.
And several of them were credited. There were 4 on the opening credits here, and I recognized like 3 of them.
Okay.
So, yeah, I don't know. I mean, this doesn't scream like it's Christmas Day, let's all go to the movies.
Right. Considering Batman Returns was a Christmas set film released in the summer.
Right.
Which was just over a year before this, and was 2 years before Forever. I mean, Cisco Ebert definitely thought it was better than Forever. Because their review happened probably about 85, 95 or so, and they did say, I don't know, I'd have to go back and look at it. They did say it was better than one of the recent ones they had seen, so I don't know if it was Returns of Forever at the time.
Okay.
So, one way or another, they did recommend it very highly.
I'm attempting to pull up movies, like what was released on Christmas Day.
Okay, yeah. Wikipedia, look for films in 1993. 1993 in film.
Okay.
And it should come up with that.
Yeah, I was trying to go a different route.
Yeah.
And does it do them in order of?
If you scroll all the way down, you'll get the.
Got it.
December.
Oh, I see. I see.
Yes. Usually better if you go horizontal on the
Got
thing.
it. All right, let me scroll all the way to the bottom here. So that was the 29th. 25. All right. Here we go. That was the 17th. All right, 22nd was Philadelphia. Christmas Day. Batman, Mask of the Phantasm. Grumpy Old Men, fuck yes. Heaven and Earth, the Oliver Stone movie.
Okay.
Shadowlands, Richard Attenborough director. Tombstone, Christmas Day.
Yeah. Yes. That. That didn't. It performed well. It didn't perform nearly as strongly as it should have. Because Touchstone really didn't know what they had on, on their hands to really promote it as strongly. That's why.
Those were your choices. Now, Philadelphia had just come out a few days before.
Hot. Great film.
I think so, right? Yes. Obviously, Tom Hanks won the Oscar. His first.
Deservedly so. It's a fantastic film.
Yeah, agreed. Those were your choices on Christmas Day, and it's like, oh, what do you want to go see?
You got good 4-quadrant options on the whole thing.
Right. There's a little bit for everybody.
Yeah.
You could send the kids here and then go watch Tombstone.
Yeah.
Although you're going to make them wait for an hour afterward.
Yeah, it's going to be a long. You can watch this one twice.
Yeah, there you go. All right, not the Batman you were thinking we were going to cover, I'm sure, but hey, maybe we'll get to that one.
The 3-hour one. Whenever we find out when the sequel is coming around, we'll end up having a spot on the schedule for that.
Yeah. I like it.
I just need to find some time to watch it a few more times.
Right, I hear you. All right, well, it's almost Christmas, guys.
Yeah.
Yay.
Thanks. Take care.
Bye.
Bye.